criminals that are walking around and they might kill you for money.
Bonito. And there's two people in our little space there that are just vomiting so hard.
Together because it's a lot of cars.
Really unsafe on that side of the border because it's like a no man's land and you are crossing illegally.
No, disculpe, es mío, no?
There's heaps of tents, literally thousands of Venezuelans right here. We're gonna head to the border now. They take you on the back of motorbikes, they ride around the border security, and it's just like really sketchy, and you have to pay off the guards, or like even they said give them a pack of cigarettes.
Mercy!
Imagina esse ano se esse hit pegar.
Mas olha agora, o canalha chegou.
Following day, piranha.
Do you wanna die?
Welcome back to Manaus, the heart of the Amazon, city of 2 million people, basically the hub city of the Amazon, biggest port on the Amazon. Today we're leaving Manaus and we are heading north, try and get to the Venezuelan border. We got a huge bus ride and then maybe rent a car or get other transport. It's going to be quite the mission. Not sure how it's going to be safety wise. The reason is because I want to document the huge influx that's been happening over the last few years from Venezuela. I have visited Venezuela in the past. I'm interested to see what it's like on this side of the border. You know, there's thousands of Venezuelan refugees still coming to Brazil, and they've been coming for the last few years. We've met many in this city and we're still like 20 hours from the border. We're going to explore further north, see if we can meet some Venezuelans and hear some of their stories. We've already met a few very nice people. There's a few beggars and street sellers on the roads here, so I assume the further north we get, the more Venezuelans we're going to meet. Also around the border area, I don't know about safety and everything. Firstly, we got to knock out a 12-hour bus ride, so let's get on the road.
Busca para passar aqui, documento.
Okay.
Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Ok.
Obrigado. Bom dia. Are you ready for the longest journey of your life?
It's not the longest journey of my life.
You're supposed to say hell yeah.
Hell yeah! Let's do it! We always eat rice, beans and go together because it's a lot of carbs.
Okay, so we're like halfway through the trip and there's two people in our little space there that are just vomiting so hard. Oh, it's intense. The roads are, we got to jump back on the bus, but the roads are like pretty sketchy in some areas. They've got holes and things, but yeah, we still got like another 6 hours to go, but we've crossed the equator. So we passed from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere. How's the bus ride, Diego?
Really interesting. A lot of vomiting.
Great, let's go. Okay, so 12 hours later, we arrived in Boa Vista, which is like the only capital city of a state. This state's called Romania, one of the most northernmost states, but this is the only capital city of a state. Brazil has 26 states. The only capital city above the equator. There's heaps of tents. There's like literally thousands of Venezuelans right here. We have to go find a hotel. We're gonna go and check in, and I'll see you in the morning and we'll explore. That's gonna be in this video. We're gonna try and meet some people, travel even further north. I'm gonna play a clip now that I filmed in 2019 in Venezuela about my friend Lenny explaining the crisis. Gives you a bit of understanding why there's so many refugees here. Can you just quickly explain what you were telling me about how you don't use cash here, you only use card?
Yeah, here in Venezuela it's very hard to find the way to pay with bills. We don't have bills, there is a lack of bill. Everything is too expensive to carry all that amount of money. For example, a hot dog can cost 9,000 bolivares. Our highest bill is the 500 bill, so you will need a lot of this to buy one perro caliente, to buy one hot dog. One hot dog is 9,000 bolivares, and this is our highest bill. So you need a lot of this to buy. The cashier machine only gives you 3,000 bolivares.
It's 6,300 for $1, is that right?
6,000 bolivares for $1. So, for example, a hot dog costs 9,000 bolivares, but you don't have that kind of money, that amount of money always. So you need your debit card.
What's the average salary per month?
Average salary here is 40,000 bolivares. There are people who earn more, like 25,000 a week, almost 100,000 bolivares a month, but that's nothing.
So 40,000, to put that in perspective, you said that's like $6 or $7, right?
$6 a month, not an hour. $6 a month. So you can imagine how hard it is to live here.
And so how do people buy hot dogs for $1 or $2 when they're earning?
That's almost everybody here has one entrance of dollars from outside. A lot of people has to leave the country, so and we are talking about 3 million people who has left the country. So everybody here have one familiar who has left the country and send money here. If one person send you from outside $100 or $200 monthly, you can afford living here. See the prices here? This is a hot dog, 10,000 bolivares. I was talking about 9,000, but it's 10,000 now. So it's like almost $2. A meat hamburger is like 30,000 bolivares. It means if you work the whole month, you can buy one hamburger and a can of soda. So that's the bizarre economy here. Nobody can afford 1 month living with this salary.
So it's the following day. You can see the sign behind me here. We're trying to find some transport to go another like 3.5 hours from here right to the border. So we're working that out now, but I hope that clip of Leni explaining, you know, it doesn't cover the whole kind of the political situation, but it makes you understand why so many people would leave the country. That was $6 a month getting paid in 2019, and now I believe it's even lower than 4 or less. I think it's dropping, like the average salary is like $3-4 a month now in Venezuela. Anyway, we're gonna head to the border now, we'll get the car, and we're gonna meet some people. So we have arrived in Pacaraima. This is like right on the border. Very interesting place, dirt roads. The roads were pretty bad in some areas. Some areas were super smooth, but most of it was really worn down roads, and now we've arrived here. So we're gonna go and explore around the city right now. Many Venezuelans here. The border is like right there, we just saw it. The Venezuelan flags and everything. We had to go through a military checkpoint. Seems a little bit tense, but also a bit relaxed. You know, when you get here, it's hard to kind of feel it out, but it seems quite peaceful, but it's hard to tell. There's some favelas, some informal housing and things that we hope to visit while we're here. But yeah, let's go and explore around this place. People behind me are Venezuelan refugees. There's lots of Venezuelan flags around. You know, obviously my time in Venezuela was very heavy, but I do feel quite close to Venezuela because of the experience that I had there and the people that I met. But it's kind of nice to see the Venezuelan flag, but also quite heavy to see all the people. They're scattered around this town quite a bit.
Would recommend that hotel there, but now I wouldn't recommend not anybody staying here there. Very dangerous. Let's go into the subway.
Okay.
Well, that machine is working. That stairs is working. Very rare. I would like you to go in front of me. Yeah.
And so this is free?
This is free.
And so can you just roughly explain why it's free?
It's free because there are no personnel who can attend the people who are coming here. You can see the information room. There was a time when you had to make a line and there and buy for the ticket. There was a time you can see there are machines that are not working anymore. So people have to enter in some way. They enter free.
So basically there's not enough money to pay the
They
staff.
have no money for maintenance. They have no money for paying people. There is a lack of personnel here.
Right.
Oh, see how crowded it is inside. And now wash.
So we've come further down the road. You know, when you come to these kind of places, it's normally quite good to get a feel for the situation. Obviously, you know, this is quite an intense area. It's the border with a failed state, essentially. There's this big blown up bus behind me. I'm not sure the deal with that. It's full of tires. There's a big military base down there. And Diego was telling me, my friend Diego that I'm traveling Brazil with, he's telling me that it's not normal to see that kind of military presence in Brazil. You know, supposedly Brazil gets on well with most of its neighbors and just countries around the world in general. So he said it was quite surprising to see the military presence here, which is interesting coming from a local. So the border security here is, you know, obviously ramped up significantly. Anyway, we're going to go further into the town now. We're going to meet some locals and some Venezuelans and see how they're blending in together because of this insane refugee crisis here. We met a local lady called Sika. She's actually spent time living in Venezuela, but she's moved back here, so it's quite interesting, but she's Brazilian. You used to live in Venezuela for 20 years and you came back. Why did you come back?
E lá era mais movimento.
She was a hairdresser on the other side of the border, so it was busier for economic reasons. As people were moving to Brazil, she moved to Brazil too. Better income living in Brazil and renting apartments here.
Have you seen a big change in this town?
Sim, aqui era pequenininho demais.
A lot has changed. Before, this was a really tiny town, and they would go to the Venezuela side to buy things. So the Venezuela side was the bigger side, where the economics happened, where they had jobs and everything. But since 2018 or something, since the last government, things changed. They don't have much in the Venezuelan side, and this city here has grown a lot. All kinds of shops now here. The Venezuelans come here to buy things and take back. And currently it's been difficult to them because the border is closed. So they have to take the side roads and stuff to go back there and bring their goods back home. So they're suffering a lot there. Before, when Venezuela and US were friends, this was really good place to live. But now that they got in a fight, as she put, it's really hard because this is really isolated. Brazil is not really here. This is not Brazil, so Venezuela is isolated from Brazil, from everywhere.
So this town is kind of like caught in the middle. It doesn't really belong to anybody.
Exactly.
So the Venezuelan border has been closed since coronavirus, but you can actually get through it. We've talked to people who said that they can get us in. It's super sketchy though. Apparently you have to pay off the Venezuelan military, and then they might tip off further down the road that, you know, there's somebody coming and you might get robbed. And even Sika there was saying that it's really unsafe on that side of the border because it's like a no man's land and you are crossing illegally. There's no kind of security around, so apparently there's lots of robbings around that area and things like that. So it is still possible to get from here to Venezuela, but it's not advisable. They take you on the back of motorbikes and then they ride around the border security, and it's just like really sketchy, and you have to pay off the guards, or like even they said give them a pack of cigarettes. So you get the understanding of how tense it is. But seen as this area is quite like closed in, it's reasonably safe from what we've been told. You know, it's never 100% safe, but you know, it's a lot safer than definitely the other side of the border. And you know, Venezuela used to be one of the richest countries in the Americas, all the Americas. It really helped Colombia during the war in the 80s and things, but now it's the other way around, and Colombia and Brazil and other surrounding countries have taken in literally millions of refugees. We've met a man called Douglas. Why did you come to Brazil from Venezuela?
Por la situación de la crisis, ¿ves? De la crisis.
So he came for the economic crisis. He didn't have a job, and he came here and he started selling bread with coffee and this kind of things on the streets.
What's the situation currently in Venezuela?
Primero que todo, ahorita no se puede vivir en Venezuela.
It's a very difficult situation. He finds in Brazil a lot of things he could not find in Venezuela. In Venezuela, the exchange rate is really bad right now. There is food, but it's expensive. There are what we call malandro, smart guys that rob people, that gets advantage over people. It's tough to live there right now.
And do you think that you'll ever be able to go back home to Venezuela?
No, todavía no.
Although he is already familiarized with living in Brazil and paying all rent and all the bills, he would love to go back to Venezuela, but only like within 5 years or so, after Maduro is not in power anymore. So the problem is Maduro to him to go back to Venezuela, but he would love to go.
Yo entré legal.
Legal?
Sí.
He crossed the border legally, so it wasn't difficult at all.
Desde que comenzó el coronavirus.
Hundreds and hundreds of people from young age to adults come here by illegal routes since the coronavirus started. Before that, most of them would come legally.
Sale de su país.
When someone leaves their country, they have to work hard to get integrated. Since he got here, he has worked hard. Recycling, and then with coffee, and now he has a little shop.
No tengo nada que hablar.
Good culture that have welcomed him, so he has nothing bad to talk about Brazilians, and he's glad that he's part of the country now.
Dificulto que.
So he's 66 because of the crisis, the political crisis. He doesn't believe he will be able to return Venezuela anytime soon.
Gracias. Muchas gracias.
Placer.
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 Y gracias por el perro. Es mío, ¿no? No, disculpe, es mío, ¿no? No, es mío.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Bonito.
A maioria desses caras que estão na rua são bandido. Bandido, ladrão.
Life is a lot worse. All the Venezuelans around here, they are thieves, robbers, murderers. Apparently Maduro has released 8,000 inmates and they had all fled to Brazil. So people around here are all criminals that are walking around and they might kill you for money, and life is really bad right now. Before he could leave his shop open and he cannot anymore because he would get robbed.
Do you believe it's dangerous for us walking around with a camera here?
É porque eles são verdadeiros bandidos.
At this time it's okay. Perhaps later in the night it would be sketchy. Anyway, he kept saying that they are robberies, they are thieves, don't trust them and this and that.
What's the solution, do you think?
Uma intervenção federal.
So he's calling the Venezuelans the Egypt plague. You know, the Bible thing. They should block the border, only let them come, buy whatever they have to buy, and then take back to Venezuela. But don't let them stay in the country, because in his beliefs, they're not refugees, because refugees come from countries in war. Their country is not in war, their country is facing misery, and the misery is being faced because they elected a dictatorship. So they have to deal with their dictatorship and their misery. They cannot come here and bring their misery to here. Obrigado. Valeu, tio.
Mixed opinions there. We just spoke to the hotel receptionist. She didn't want to be on camera, but we asked her similar questions. How's life here and things, and what was her general consensus?
Everything got worse after the immigration started. A lot of robberies and thieves. In her opinion, we should send them back to Venezuela. That's the only way to fix things. And she said it's just some of them, but it's hard to tell which of them are good and which are bad.
How do you feel about it? You live in this country.
I think we should be welcoming them and trying to give them the best opportunities. Our society is the result of many immigrants from many different countries. We shouldn't change that.
So the receptionist was also saying that there's been major demonstrations by the Brazilian people. That bus, the burnt out bus, was actually parked in front of the border and lit on fire as kind of like a symbol of like stop letting in the people. But it's just so difficult, you know, because knowing where they've come from and the situations they face, and when you're having those like large numbers of immigration, there's always going to be a few bad eggs, right? So it's a shame that there's this kind of tension between Brazilians and Venezuelans. In the next video, we're going to try and go deeper into some of the Venezuelan neighborhoods, meet some more people and explore further around this area because there's quite a bit to see. It's a reasonably small place, but there's lots of stories to be told here, I think. So cheers from Pacaraima. Thank you so much for watching, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and
Good night.